But let's try looking at it like long division. What does it look like when we set it up as a problem like we did when we were in elementary school? Now let's see what happens. Same thing we would do with long division. We're going to divide the first two terms. I know that 6 goes into 24 4 times. And let's do this in a different color. 4 times, and 6x squared goes into x to the 6th power 4 times. So when I multiply those out, I get 24 x to the 6th power. Those then I subtract them. That's 0. I bring down the next term, which is a positive 18x to the 5th. And again, how do I multiply? How do I divide 18 by 3? That's a by 6. That's a positive 3. X to the 5th divides by x squared. X to the 3 times, and then I multiply. I get 18 x to the 5th. Subtract that. Bring down the next term, minus 36 x squared, and then start the process all over again. This is long division, so it'll be minus 6 x squared divides by x squared, so that looks like that, and 0, and we have no remainder, yay! So our answer that we got is just the same as we got up here by just making the rational expression different terms and then simplifying. Well, that's easy when you have a monomial divided into a polynomial, but here I don't have that luxury, do I? Also, when I'm setting up a long division problem like so, I have to account for all the different y degrees in between 3 and 0. So I have to do 125 y to the 3rd power plus I have 0 y squares plus I have 0 y's, and then now I have a negative 8. What's going to happen when I divide the difference of two perfect cubes by their cubed roots? Well, first of all, I want to know how I'm going to get just this term right here. How do I get 125 y cubed from 5y squared? And when I divide that out, I realize that it is 25y to the 2nd power. So 25y to the 2nd power. And then I multiply. I have to distribute it, don't I? 25y to the 2nd power is 125y cubed. And then I distribute it to the 2, negative 2, and it's minus 50y squared. And so when I subtract that now, I have to change my signs. And so these will cancel, and I'm left with 0y squared plus 50y squared is a positive 50y squared. And so now I need to know, how do I get 50y squared from 5y? And that will be, I'll have to multiply it by a positive 10y squared. Nope, not squared, 10y. Because 10 times 5 is 50, y times y is y squared, then I have to multiply this 10y, I have to distribute it to this negative 2, and I come up with minus 20y. I subtract, well, I have to bring this down, don't I? 0. I subtract by changing the signs, and I get those two cancel, and I end up with 20y. Now, I need to know how to get 20y from 5y, and that seems to be plus 4. So 4 times 20y is, oh, I have to bring this down, don't I? I have to bring down the minus 8. 4 times 20y, 5y is 20y, and 4 times a negative 2 is minus 8. Oh, cool. And when I subtract, I change my signs. Both of those cancel. And again, I have a 0 remainder. So look at that. That is my quotient. Let's see what happens when I divide x minus 2 into a quantity x to the fourth power. I don't have any x to the third power, so it's 0x to the third power minus 9x squared. I don't have any x's, so it's plus 0 x's, and then a minus 5. Wow, that took a while. That's a lot of work. Let's see if I have enough room. Alright, so to get x to the fourth power from x, I have to multiply by x to the third. That gives me x to the fourth minus 2x to the third. I subtract by changing the signs and then adding. Those cancel, and I'm left with 2x to the third. Bring down the minus 9x squared. Oh boy, this is getting to be fun. Then I will say let's get 2x cubed by adding 2x squared. That'll give me, when I distribute that, 2x cubed minus 4x squared. When I distribute it to there, I subtract by changing the signs and adding. Those cancel, and I've got negative 5x squared. Bring down the 0x's plus 0x. And I get negative 5x squared by subtracting 5x. I distribute, and I get negative 5x squared. Minus 5 times a minus 2 is a plus 10x. So from here I will have to change the signs and add, so those cancel, and I'm left with a negative 10x. I bring down my minus 5, and to get, now I have to divide again, so to get negative 10x from x I have to subtract 10, so negative 10 I distribute, so that's a negative 10x plus a 20. And now what haven't I used here? Let's go back to yellow. When I change my signs and combine, those cancel, and I'm left with a negative 25. So I have a remainder this time. Whoa! I have a remainder this time. And with a remainder, what I have to do is, let's express this as, let's see, this one is, when I divide this big madness by x minus 2, I get x cubed plus 2x squared minus 5x minus 10 plus a negative 25 over x minus 2. Remember how you used to write your remainders as a fraction. This is the answer to all of that madness, and yes, we will go over it in class.